Okay, so you saw the urn come together and you saw me do the big container by the front door with Sunflower Steve, but those are the only containers you're going to get to see me put together this year. And the reason for that is that winter containers are so simple, you guys. They're completely up to whatever you feel like doing and whatever materials you can find. That's what you stick in them. And it's all about just a little bit of interest, a little bit of color, and an otherwise kind of dark time of year. So I'm going to take you around and show you all the containers, talk to you a little bit about how they all came together, and then we will get to see them lit up as well, because I know you want to see that. So let's start with this one right behind me. This is one of those places where I get creative. There's nothing fancy with this. This is all about what can I find. And I like to do something different every once in a while because it gets really boring doing the same thing all the time, which is why even when something's really successful, I often don't do it again. So let's show you what's in there. Okay, so in the center of this, you guys, this is actually a piece of driftwood I found this summer, and I thought it looked kind of like a reindeer, like reindeer antlers or something. I don't know. So anyway, I've put that in there. I just took the tops off of the 2 Christmas trees that I used to cut up for other containers. I kept the tops, so we've got 2 little Christmas trees in there, and then some sumac and some winterberry. Those are all from Sunflower Steve. He brought me so many nice materials to work with. And then the back is just red twig dogwood saved from last year. It's not as bright as it was last year, but otherwise it looks just fine. And we do have this lit. Okay, you've already seen the urn, so we're not going to spend a lot of time on it. But you might be able to see the little white berries that I put in there. And there's a few little brown berries, but I actually ended up pulling them out to use them on the wreath inside. So not as many as there once were. So this little container right by the back steps, I plant tomatoes and stuff in this usually, but this is always the last thing I do, so it sort of gets the last bits. But this actually got some curly willow in it this year, and I just popped in. These are actually branches cut off a real Christmas tree because I like to thin them out a little bit, and put in, I had faux berries in there, and then I found more berries that came from Steve, so I put those in. It really is nicer with the real berries, you guys. Okay, here's the window box this year. I actually started making a video. You guys have seen me put this window box together so many times, and I'll link to old videos on it, but the basics of it haven't changed at all. It just changes a little bit in configuration. So of course I always start with my metal ring. Now, the story of this metal ring is we just had a local metal worker make this for us when we were getting a fire pit ring made. And he made a few other rings, and it was really simple. It's not too heavy, and I wrap lights around the outside of it to create a nice glow there. In terms of evergreens, all we have there is, I think that's mostly, there's a little bit of Fraser fir in there, a little bit of black spruce, and then a touch of that beautiful incense cedar. The big branches that extend beyond the hoop are actually really large pussy willow branches that have these beautiful kind of red berries, and a couple of them actually opened up into pussy willows. And then below that we did a little bit of yellow twig dogwood, which I really like that look. A whole bunch of pine cones. These are sugar pine cones and Jeffrey pine cones. And then I threw in blueberries because I thought, what the heck, why not? I love that blue and yellow together. And then I have the same cherry lights that I used in the urn. And what's great about these is they look like little snowballs, even when they're not on. But they have this the nicest, warmest color. And then, of course, you guys, as always, I stuck an old string of lights behind everything just to create a little bit of glow from the middle. So this year I put an old fire pit in the middle of this garden. This is kind of off to the northwest of our house. Drilled some holes in it, and I put caladiums there, and I loved the look of it so much. And so I just filled it with, this is just tips from our Norway spruces that we have. They're real floppy, so they're not good for a lot of containers, but this one worked. A few leftover dogwood branches and a whole bunch of hydrangea. Well, this is about as easy as it comes in terms of Christmas decorations. I took a chunk of garland from the garland that's over the garage, and lit it up and ran a very long extension cord, you can kind of see it there, over to the vegetable garden. And I left actually the clematis on the top of the arbor there because I like that look. I think it looks nice up there, even though it's obviously very brown. And threw some lights on that and then hung a very inexpensive wreath from our local Boy Scout who shows up at the door to actually sell it. And if a kid's going to show up at my door to actually sell me something, you better bet I'm going to buy something. So you can see that the big pot by the door has had a few additions to it. I added 2 kinds of lights to it. The first thing was more of these cherry lights, and you can see now, you can see how they look like when they're lit up. They're almost yellow. They're just a very warm white. And then I actually bought 3 of these little stars. I think they're 17 inches in diameter, something like that. I was going to put them in the window box, and then I decided I didn't like that there. So I put 2 of them in here, and I mean, this container is so over the top. I thought, well, heck, let's just make it more over the top.
Well, I'm all for Christmas, all the happy smiles and the wishes, and I want it all from the lights to the mistletoe. Tell me one thing, is there anything that you're missing? I will keep you warm as soon as you remove that snow. Whatever we do, we will be alright. These holiday wonders will open your mind. May all your wishes tonight come true. The love I lived, the dream I knew. This Christmas I only wanna be close to you. Hey. Whatever we do, we will be alright. These holiday